to serve.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf alongside, as always, Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds. Greg Jennings is with us on a Thursday morning. Coming up, we now know what the NBA will look like when it returns. Which teams got better, which got worse, which stayed the same since play stopped back in March. And has the pendulum now swung too far the other way for Baker Mayfield? We will discuss all of that. But we start this morning with some controversial comments made by Drew Brees yesterday, comments that sparked a firestorm across social media. It happened when the Saints quarterback was asked what he thought about players potentially kneeling again during the national anthem this upcoming season. Take a listen.
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place. So every time I stand with my hand over my heart, looking at that flag and singing the national anthem, that's what I think about.
Well, not long after, as expected, reactions started pouring in. LeBron James tweeting, "Wow, man, is it still surprising at this point? Sure isn't. You literally still don't understand why Cap was kneeling on one knee. Has absolutely nothing to do with the disrespect of the flag and our soldiers, men and women who keep our land free. My father-in-law was one of those men who fought as well for this country. I asked him questions about it and thank him all the time for his commitment. He never found Cap's peaceful protest offensive because he and I both know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. God bless you." Well, there was also a lot of reaction within the NFL. This from Aaron Rodgers. "A few years ago, we were criticized for locking arms in solidarity before the game. It has never been about an anthem or a flag. Not then, not now. Listen with an open heart. Let's educate ourselves and then turn word and thought into action." Greg, I'll start with you. What was your reaction to how all of this unfolded yesterday?
Before I give my reaction, kudos to Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, we know LeBron's stance, and he's always been outspoken, but kudos to Aaron Rodgers because this is a topic that is uncomfortable. This is a topic that not everyone feels like they should have a say or should say anything. So kudos for him for actually saying something and supporting what we're talking about, the actual cause. Now to my response. My response was like, wow. And two words come to mind: callous and selfish, period. I'm not here to defend Drew Brees. What Drew Brees said was simply callous and selfish. And why do I say that? Because in his comments, when he talks about what the flag means to him and what he sees when he stands up and honors the flag, that's cool. That's fine. But that's not what we're talking about right now, Drew. We're talking about the injustices. Tell me what you see and what you saw when you watched the George Floyd murder. Tell me what you saw then. Tell me, did you see your grandfather fighting for that man? Because that's what essentially what was taking place, what you see, and you're telling me you saw your grandfather fighting for all of our freedom, for all of our justice, and that's not happening. That's the frustration. And when you hear someone who, and I'll put it in terms, in an analogy of swimming and drowning. Like, here it is, you have Drew Brees standing on dry land, and I am drowning. You see me in the water, I'm drowning. This is not the time for me to be asked, well, can you get out? No, I can't. Not right now, I can't. But I see you, and even if you can't swim, Drew, throw something in the water to help me. That's all we're asking. I just need your cognitive empathy. I don't need the compassion and the emotional, just cognitive. Just try to understand my plight, period. That's all anyone can ask of someone who is not understanding fully of what the plight is of the Black community and the Black man specifically. Drew, you got to do better. And the timing and the insensitiveness that you've shown, it tells me all I need to know, what direction you're headed. And just like a game of sport, if it was the fourth quarter with less than a minute to go and he got into the huddle and Michael Thomas said, man, I quit. You and everybody in that huddle would look at Michael Thomas and say, what? Right now? You quit on me right now? You know the goal, we can still win. But it would not stop you from continuing to move forward. And that's my message to Drew Brees. Regardless if you get into alignment and you agree with the cause, it will not stop the change that has to be made in America, period.
Greg, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing. That was tremendous. Nick, I hope Drew Brees was listening to that. That was fantastic, Greg. And Nick, as you said Monday, you talked about there's tremendous value in people like Drew Brees to just simply listen. And I wanted to walk through 3 of his teammates' reactions, and the first is Malcolm Jenkins. If we could roll that tape, please.
What it stands for, if you don't understand that other people experience something totally different than you, then when you talk about being the brotherhood and all this other, it's just lip service, or it's only on the field. Because when we step off of this field and I take my helmet off and I'm a Black man walking around America and I'm telling you I'm dealing with these things, I'm telling you my communities are dealing with these things, and your response to me is, don't talk about that here. This is not the place. Drew, where is the place, Drew? I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. Because while the world tells you that you're not worthy, that your life doesn't matter, the last place you want to hear from are the guys that you go to war with and that you consider to be allies and to be your friends. Even though we're teammates, I can't let this slide.
Here's Cam Jordan, who spoke to Drew yesterday. Feel like I gave him my perspective, almost like I was trying to force him to walk a mile in my shoes, and I hope it gets through. I hope it gets through to my guy, Drew, because that's what he is. He's been my guy since I entered the league. He's been the leader and a guy I can rely on the field. Well, off the field has to align. I can't allow people to tippy-toe on the line of this issue. You can't play both sides on this one. We're fighting to end social injustice, and you're either with us or you aren't. And here's Mark Ingram, who quotes Aaron Rodgers, which we heard earlier. This is Aaron Rodgers. It has never been about an anthem or a flag, not then, not now. And here's Ingram. Thank you for speaking truth for the oppressed and unheard. Thank you for understanding the why, Aaron Rodgers. Nick, Drew's energetic and outspoken leader of the team and the city, and I hope he uses the same energy this time to listen to his own teammates.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic on that. A couple things. First of all, I want to echo what you said, Wilds, about Greg. To my friend Greg Jennings, that might have been your finest moment on television that I've experienced with you, and it was a pleasure to be alongside with that, and I appreciate you sharing that perspective and that passion with the audience. Now to Drew. I think it's important to recognize the question he was asked. I'll read it to you exactly. How will the NFL respond to potential kneeling, and what is your responsibility in times like this? That's the question Drew Brees was asked. He could have taken it any direction he wanted. He made an active choice to hit for the cycle of disinformation. He never once mentions police brutality, race, or racism. He immediately goes to disrespect, the red herring of disrespect of the flag or of America, and he evokes someone else's military service as a cloak for his opinion. So I can't believe we're here again 3 years later, but let me once again remind Drew Brees and others who evidently need it the timeline of events here. Colin Kaepernick was sitting during the national anthem. Nate Boyer, a Green Beret, met with him, explained to him that this was going to resonate poorly with some members of the military, active and former. And Nate Boyer suggested taking a knee because in the military, that is a sign of respect. So Cap started taking a knee. That's how this got going. I also would like to remind Drew Brees that at every turn, at every opportunity, Cap and everyone that kneeled alongside him made it crystal clear this is about systemic police brutality against the black community and has nothing to do with the flag, our troops, or anything to do with patriotism that you try to conflate and bring into this story. And all of America knows, and this is the most uncomfortable part of this, I would imagine, that if when Cap was first asked about kneeling, his answer was, I'm kneeling because I don't think our veterans are treated right. I think the VA's underfunded, and I won't stand for the flag until we take care of our servicemen and women. The disrespect for the flag would be the exact same, but the folks angriest at Cap would be his biggest supporters, because the issue was never about the flag. It was always about the cause and whether or not you believe that to be a just cause.